afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming in. Today I am here to talk about how to build extraordinary from the ordinary. We often think that extraordinary is either built by pure genius or something glamorous or some god level IQ. What if I told you it's built out of something very simple? What if I told you that extraordinary is actually built by just observing the ordinary? Let me explain this to you via 5 stories and 5 pillars of extraordinary. For the first story, imagine an ordinary lady from an ordinary town sitting in an ordinary showroom at the cash counter counting cash perfectly. Sounds ordinary, right? Let's zoom in a little. She is 92 years old. She comes from this town called Mirzapur and she has only 2% of her vision left, still counting that cash flawlessly. Now that, my friends, is extraordinary, powered by presence. Because presence does not mean being loud or flashy. Presence simply means showing up, even when your eyesight does not. So my grandmother, the old lady that we were talking of, she didn't just show up. She showed us what showing up meant. When everyone else her age were comparing knee surgeries and cribbing about the rising rates of arhar dal, she was there managing our family business like a boss, with her ledger, with her magnifying glasses and her no-nonsense attitude. Once a customer tried to slip in a fake note to her. To that her response was, "Beta, ये स्पेशल नोट अपने पास रख लो, हमारे लिए एक ऑर्डिनरी नोट ही काफ़ी होगा." Mic drop, vision or not, she saw everything and she could see everything because she was always present in the moment. Even when she had her eyesight intact, she was always present in the moment, observing every minute detail, feeling the cash, how it felt, observing the attitude of customers. So when she lost her vision, those ordinary things actually turned into something extraordinary. So yes, presence is that first pillar that turns ordinary into extraordinary. For the second pillar, we have a lady who's holding this pillar of courage very tightly. Now, this lady had what many of us would call a normal life. Married to a businessman, raised 3 kids, had a difficult mother-in-law, and peaceful existence. Until one day, life threw a Bollywood-level plot twist on her. Her husband passed away mysteriously and she was poisoned. She went through tragedies after tragedies, what Gen Z today would actually call a trauma dump. Many of us at this stage would have paused. But Ma, she hit play, and like how. At 68, my mother, the same lady, is planning a girls' trip to Japan. Because, and I quote, "अरे यार, कब तक रोना धोना करेंगे? Life must go on. Tokyo देखना है मुझे." That is not denial. That is pure play courage. Standing up, dressing up, showing up and saying that life must go on takes a lot of courage. And that courage is the strongest pillar that holds extraordinary on its shoulder. For the third story, we have a girl. Ordinary degrees from ordinary colleges, coming from a very ordinary town, ordinary work ex, till one day she decided to join a startup at the ideation phase. So she met a team of founders who were ideating something. She was rejected. But in her mind, she really wanted to make it work. So what she did? She barged in. Without any offer letter, without any salary negotiations, without any roles being discussed, without any responsibility being given, and also without being wanted there. She still showed up every day, picked up every little piece of work that she could lay her hands on. She kept working, she kept going in every day, till one day the founders had to say, "अरे यार, अपना offer letter ले लो, कब तक मुफ्त में काम करेगी?" That startup became a unicorn, and that girl standing right in front of you became its business head. We blitz scaled the startup from ideation to unicorn with pure persistence. The persistence of making it work. just because we wanted to prove that we can do it. I can do it. Fast forward to today, I run a pet care startup. It's the most crowded D2C space as of today. While others are pitching for AI for cats, I am here writing love notes for pets named Coco, Doby, Buddy. Every order that goes out of our setup is hand labeled with their names and a cute little handmade heart by next to it. I often get this question, from blitzscaling to this. Is it not slow? Yes, it is slow. Is it beautiful? Yes, it is very beautiful. And then one question comes up. Is it scalable? To that my answer is, इंसान चांद पे पहुंच गया है. And we are still discussing the scalability of personalized experiences. Of course it is scalable. With a lot of patience and persistence, anything on earth is scalable. Rome was not built in a day, neither is anything worth building. So yes, patience is that virtue that actually turned Siddhartha into Buddha. We are simply talking of scaling a startup. It will scale and it is scalable. All we need is a lot of patience and persistence. Now for the fifth pillar, I am going to talk of a character which is of a very next door girl. This is my sister. Very next door kind of a girl. Was a homemaker for 20 years. Too kind to even join any startup. When she joined us in our venture, she was very underconfident. She questioned every decision that she made and always asked, do I really belong here? But she still showed up every day with a lot of persistence and a never giving up attitude. Just quiet, simple grit. No big announcements, no grand plans. Just grit and the attitude of not giving up. And a pantry so organized that even Marie Kondo would weep tears of joy. With her eye for detail and her operational excellence, she actually turned the venture into a profitable setup. She wasn't loud. She did not make a lot of noise also about it. All she did was she didn't give up. She kept at it every day, and with that persistence and not giving up and grit, she actually made the business very successful. This is what not giving up looks like. Honestly, I still don't know if she believes in herself or not, but our business's P&L surely does. At this point, it is safe to say that I have spoken of every woman in my family, starting from my grandmother to my mother to my sister to myself, all of us coming from Mirzapur. Don't worry, Kaleen Bhaiya is not going to walk in through that door. But yeah, all of us trying to build ordinary lives, trying to turn ordinary lives into extraordinary outcomes. But extraordinary did not happen to us by chance. We didn't wake up one day and stumble into the magic. It happened slowly, silently, over years, through grit, through hustle, through persistence, through patience, and a lot of courage per se. Let's go back to the persistence that I showed, my startup story. That persistence does not come from anywhere. It came by seeing 2 generations before me, by seeing my grandmother count cash even when she did not have any sight, by seeing my mother pull up her life and stand with a lot of courage, by seeing my sister turn from a homemaker to an entrepreneur. I did not realize it back then, but watching these people do simple things right every day was my greatest MBA. And as James Clear says, small things done consistently make a big life. I can very happily say now, turning ordinary into extraordinary has become pretty genetic now in our family. There have been 3 generations that I have spoken of. The last story, the last character that I am going to talk about can be very close to us because, it could be, somebody we all can relate to very closely. First, because it is Gen Z. Second, because I was also a below average student in my school. This guy is also a below average student in his school. This is my nephew I am talking of. Till 8th grade, he was a below average student. When the lockdown had hit, he had to write his 8th grade examinations. And I was sitting right behind his laptop helping him up with the examinations. Even after so much of help, the dude could barely pass. Cut to today, he's just written his 12th examinations. He scored a 98% in both 10th and 12th. And the buck does not stop there. He is one of the only 7 students selected from India by the Yale University to do their undergraduation from there. From below average to Ivy League. It took a lot of consistency, a lot of grit, a lot of hustle, a lot of persistence, a lot of patience, and most of all, the courage to dream. As he entered his 9th grade, he had the courage to dream that I will go to the best university of the world. From loving cricket to loving calculus, all it took was a lot of grit. And of course, some family pressure work too. But yes, if you combine all these pillars together and you put them in a box, you will have to create something. Something extraordinary will definitely come out of there. Now that this almost sounds like an autobiography, let me share one last piece of myself with you. I look pretty ordinary, right? Ordinary clothes, ordinary hair, everything quite ordinary. Just that I never married. Ordinary. I am a single mother in India, coming from Mirzapur. I mean, a lot of aunties still haven't recovered. It's been 8 months, and if I were to get a rupee for every time somebody questioned, by the way, whose child is that, I could have funded my startup twice over. I do not come from a celebrity background or a super progressive urban bubble. I come from a very deeply rooted ordinary family. And yet, I chose to be a mother. Not to make a statement, not to sound bold, not to shock the society, but just because love and motherhood do not wait for the right conditions. Also, when you grow up, seeing people around you live with strength and softness, grace and grit, you think maybe, just maybe, I can do something extraordinary too. So what all does it all sum up to? It all sums up to saying that extraordinary is not loud, it's not flashy, it's not viral, it's not instant. It's presence when no one's clapping. It's courage when the world is falling apart. It's persistence when the doors are shut. It's patience when the world is looking for speed. And it's not giving up even when you want to. It's also the chai that you make, the spreadsheets that you color code, the tantrum that you survived. You think these are ordinary? Observe closely. Maybe they are just the beginning of something extraordinary. Maybe that's how Chayos was ideated. So maybe your next chai will turn you into something ordinary, extraordinary. Now, you don't need to be famous or glamorous or have 10 side hustles. All you need to do is show up every single day with the same purpose, with the same patience, with a lot of persistence, and of course, too much of courage is needed. Now, if you're sitting out there thinking, but I'm just an ordinary person, good, because you're exactly the sort of person who can build an extraordinary life. And if all else fails, then remember, इंसान चांद पे पहुंच गया है. You can totally build that unscalable idea that you've been thinking of. You can totally make that phone call you've been avoiding. You can totally send that email that has been lying in your draft since ever. Trust me, मिर्ज़ापुर से मैं यहाँ तक आ गई हूँ, आप भी आ जाओगे. Thank you so much for your time. Go build an extraordinary life.